Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this webinar of the Future Classroom Lab entitled Boosting AI in Your Classroom with Intel Skills for Innovation. A very warm welcome to all of you. My name is Eugenia Casariego, and I work for European SchoolNet, and I'm very glad to be here with you this afternoon having a very important conversation around the topic of innovation education around AI. Before I start introducing our speakers, and for those of you who don't know us yet, I just wanted to let you know what is European SchoolNet. European SchoolNet mission is to inspire and support our 34 member ministries of education, as well as schools, teachers, and relevant stakeholders such as our industry partners, of whom you will hear more today. That they are based in Europe and beyond, and we aim to transform education processes. We do this by identifying and testing promising innovative practices, sharing evidence about their impact, and supporting the mainstreaming of teaching and learning practices that are aligned with the 21st century skills. The Future Classroom Lab is an initiative or an ecosystem, I like to call it, of part of European SchoolNet. We've been around for more than 10 years now, and it's an inspirational learning environment that also has a physical dimension that is in Brussels, in Belgium, where we invite visitors to rethink the role of pedagogy, technology, design in education. But we also have another dimension of the Future Classroom Lab that is everywhere in a way, that it's online, such as the webinars and the sessions like the one that we are hosting today. Today's webinar is organized in collaboration with Acer and with Acer Education and with Intel. Both are industry partners of the Future Classroom Lab and part of our ecosystem. And today we're going to have, as I was saying, a very relevant discussion around the role of AI in education and how can we leverage it to boost innovation in education. We're going to count as well with testimony of a real classroom practitioner, with a teacher who is going to illustrate a bit further how Intel skills boost innovation education with the support of AI. So I would like to introduce you to three speakers that you will meet today. I first would like to welcome online Roberto Rosaschino from Acer Education. Later on, we'll hear more from Margaret Purdue from Intel Skills and Stavrola Schiavda, who is part of the Intel SFI, as well as a scientist ambassador. Before we begin, I would like to let you know that after the presentation, we'll probably have a little bit of time for questions and answers. So don't hesitate to type in the chat any question or even any comment that you have. We also like to hear from you during the session and to understand what your thoughts are about the session and our conversation, and for you to contribute to a discussion. So please do so. Don't forget to use the chat. And if you have any question, type it right away on the chat, and we'll make sure to have a little bit of time towards the end of the session to answer your questions. So without further ado, Roberto, the floor is yours. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to all the attendees. I see that we have a very good coverage from Europe, from Spain, Portugal, Greece, Albania, so Serbia. So thanks a lot for all the people joining. Today we would like to make a small journey with you. So starting with some background about what we believe could represent as a potential AI in education. Then a brief history about the technology that is going to support the AI in education. And then from Margaret and Stavrola, how we can really start with some AI-focused content. So let me start with a very interesting report that has been published recently by the World Economic Forum, that I also encourage you to look and read. It gives really a worldwide overview about the role in education 4.0. So it's been released this year. And I would like to share with you the key findings. Also to ask you if you agree, with the results of this study. So there are three global key challenges that have been analyzed and highlighted by this report. The first one is the shortage of teachers. This is something that we are experiencing in many countries worldwide, but also in Europe. And of course, this challenging is having as a consequences the extra workload that teachers has to fulfill in order to cover and to try to mitigate the shortage of teachers. Then we have, because of the first one, a lot of non-teaching tasks that are required teachers to do. And of course, the more time teachers are spending on administrative tasks, the less they can do in what you really care, that is about teaching. And your role, especially in this area, is even more important because we are an industry representative, and we can confirm that there is a digital skill gap that we have to close. Last week, also during the European Schoolnet Eminent, we discussed about this topic. So this is critical in order to ensure the right employability of our student. And for instance, looking at the first topic, so the shortage of teachers, this summer there was a survey run by Euronews, and the country that you see marked in red are those that confirm, yes, we don't have enough teacher to cover the country needs. And I'm also curious because some countries were not covered during the survey, but I see that we have representative today. Let us know if you are confirming the same trend that we observe in other European countries. Regarding the non-teaching task, there is one number that quite shocked me. That is, the majority of the time of a teacher is actually spent in not teaching tasks. So 56% is this data that has been observed by the OECD survey, where many European countries has been covered. And of course, this is also causing a lot of stress because, again, there is too much administrative work to do. And to give you another number to think of with regards to digital skill gap closing, according to the report, 40% of the core skills are expected to change in the next 5 years. It looks a lot for such a short period of time, but if I think about what I was doing and how I was working 5 years ago, I'm not surprised about this number. So all of this to say that AI can indeed help is not the only one, but of course is a driver to try to sort out this situation. So there are many promises that AI in education can fulfill. So starting with the automation of the process, so supporting the teacher roles, moving to the personalized learning, and closing with the skills empowerment. We are running some pilot in many schools these days, and I can confirm that especially the supporting teachers role, personalized learning, and skill empowerment are fundamental. I might expect that some of you might still have some concern, some doubt. They would like to know more. But overall, it's a topic, it's an argument that we have to discuss, and we have to face. We have to play with the AI. And I want to, let's say, close this overview on AI, mentioning one quote that I found very representative, that in my view speaks by itself. So no matter what, we don't see it, we don't believe that AI will replace our job. But for sure, the person that will know AI better, they could. So it's important for us to know this impressive technology change that we are facing. And as per all the previous technology big changes that we faced in the past, like the introduction of computers, internet, and smartphone, we always had a new breakthrough technology that is coming to support. Otherwise, it's more, of course, it's more challenging. So I would like to give you a very short overview about which is a technology that are supporting the AI. So talking about the AI PC era. It's important to underline that as per today, we are seeing the generative AI only addressing the teacher's needs. While for the students, you probably are experienced, we already have tools that is a supportive AI tools. This we don't see any changes, just some evolvement. But the AI we are talking here is really more on the generative AI capabilities that, as said, for us is only focusing on teachers or potentially higher education students. So I would like to, let's say, have a very, very quick 101 AI PC lesson. But this is important because you will hear this terminology and this new acronyms a lot. So it's important to know for you to understand which are the differences in order to navigate and then select the right equipment, for instance, for your needs. So if we open up a PC, inside, of course, we have the CPU. This is the central processing unit that is responsible for the majority of our calculation. Then some more advanced computer, they can also have integrated a dedicated graphic processing unit that, for instance, we are using to do some editing or to manage some heavy presentation. But what AI PC are introducing is a new AI engine that is called NPU, the Neural Processing Unit. This new component of the CPU, of the computer, is responsible to manage the AI-related features and skills. And doing so, the results is that I have a more efficient PC because I'm not overloading CPU and the GPU in order to manage my AI functionality. I have a dedicated engine that is supporting my need. Sorry, just 1 second because I still have some problem with my voice. And so this is the big difference. AI are introducing the NPU. And to make it more recognizable, if we talk, for instance, about Intel, you are familiar with the Intel Core. Well, if an Intel Core has an NPU, it's marked as Intel Core Ultra. So whenever you see a computer, Chromebook, notebook, doesn't matter, that is based with Intel Core Ultra, it means that there is an NPU, a neural processing unit, included. And another word that we have to learn is TOPS. TOPS is trillion operation per second. This is basically measuring, how many thousands of billion of operation the NPU specifically is running. Why so important? Because there is a TOPS threshold that can really change the name in which the computer can be known. Just to make it clear. On the left, we have the standard PC. With this, you still can do, of course, a lot of AI functionality. But if you're looking to be prepared for the future and have a more enhanced AI experience, in that case, you might probably look for an AI PC. So a PC with an NPU, like the Intel Core Ultra. But if this PC with the Intel Core Ultra is capable to reach and to exceed the 40 TOPS, so more than 40 trillion operation per second, in that case, it will be called as Copilot Plus PC. This is a new terminology that has been introduced by Microsoft. Okay, so whenever you see Copilot Plus PC, it means NPU with more than the 40 TOPS. Which is the differences? Two differences. The first one is that a Copilot Plus PC can run most of the AI features locally. So you don't need to be always connected to the network. And also, there are some specific and exclusive features that you can find. So you probably heard about the live captions or the recall. That is pretty cool. So you can really navigate through your history in an easy way and to start from when you were maybe 2 or 3 days ago, or the co-creator. These 3 features will be available only for the Copilot Plus PC. So this was let's say, the Windows environment. If instead you are on the Chrome environment, in this case, Google has introduced a year and a half ago, the Chromebook Plus. So when you see Chromebook Plus, it means a computer, a Chromebook, very powerful, with some special features that I can enjoy only if I'm purchasing a Chromebook Plus. In this case, the TOPS are still not so relevant, but the Chromebook Plus are the Chromebook that are meant to support the generative AI built in. This is something, just some of the features that you can find on this machine. The Help Me Write can, for instance, help you to easily write an email to the parents, or the Help Me Read can easily summarize an article, so saving a lot of time where you are, for instance, you're creating your lesson for the next days. So this is the hardware. And to sum up, if you want to enjoy the AI, you have 3 levels. The first one is the freemium. It means if you're having the Microsoft license or the Google license, you can simply access either Copilot or Gemini with your school account. This is the one I encourage to do so because you are in a protected environment, and try to use this experience. Then if you are moving to the dedicated hardware, you can find some special features that are reserved for this category of product. And then the experience, the maximum experience can be obtained with some special subscription. So when you see Microsoft 365 Copilot or Gemini for education, Gemini for workspace, it means these are paid licenses that can give you access to extra features to really, let's say, unleash the maximum productivity that AI can offer. It's not the purpose of today's webinar, of course, to deep dive into each of them, but for me it was important to give you a brief overview because, of course, you will hear a lot about this terminology. So it's important that we are prepared in order to manage all of this. And to close my session, my recommendation would be, first of all, not to be afraid, especially if you're using Copilot or Gemini with your school account. Whatever you type remains in your domain. So it's not used. So if you have to, don't use ChatGPT, but instead use Copilot or Gemini. Your role will not change. So you don't have to trust AI blindly because the content might be incorrect. So your role remains crucial to analyze and fine-tune what AI is telling you, but most importantly, use it. And then during the remaining part of the webinar, we will see also how Intel with Skill Innovation can support. My last slide is, besides all this beautiful argument, we are running these days a very interesting survey for us. We do value your feedback a lot. So after the webinar, if you can just have maybe 5 more minutes, we encourage you to go and see this, visit the link that we should post very, very soon, with the opportunity to share your feedback on AI, but not only. So thank you for that. Of course, happy to take some question at the end. And now I hand over to my valuable guest of today's webinar.
Hello, and thank you so much. I am
Margaret.
Yes, I'm excited to be here today to talk about not only Intel skills for innovation, but the amazing things that we are doing with Acer, as well as AI and incorporating that into the classroom. We also have one of our Intel SFI ambassadors joining us today. So we are so happy to be able to be here and share about all of the great things going on here with SFI. I will go ahead and share my screen. And we will get started. Just a little bit about myself. I wanted to share is I am an educator by trade. I taught 11 and 12-year-olds for 6 years in the classroom, and then made my transition where I still get to do a lot of teaching and education when I am doing webinars and things like this, but also get to work with absolutely wonderful educators, such as our ambassador, who will be sharing here in just a little bit. So those of you who maybe have not heard of Intel Skills for Innovation may be asking, okay, what is it? Why are you here? And there are so many top trends that are currently impacting education. And as you can see here, there are 4 that we have really picked out, but the one that we're going to focus in on today is AI. It is estimated that 15 to 25 there's a 25% surge in AI integration within core education, and that this is it's projected to grow even further. And it is noted that almost 44% of educational institutions have plans to incorporate AI or are already doing so. So where does Intel Skills for Innovation fit into this, and what are we doing about this? As we can see with AI and machine learning and the other things mentioned, we're seeing this transformation of jobs and skills requirements. We are seeing that there are 83 million declining roles within the workforce and 69 million emerging roles. And within those, what we have done is we've looked to see, okay, within those emerging roles, what are the top skills that employers are looking at? And you can see that on the side here. We have our analytical thinking, critical thinking, and you're seeing this shift from more just, basic skills and to more of that thinking and application, a lot more of those soft skills as well. So at Intel, we had asked ourselves, what can we do with this information? And we are working to bring AI as well as integrating technology in a variety of different ways. We are doing that with Intel AI for Youth, Intel AI for Future Workforce, and Intel Skills for Innovation, which is where I do the majority of my work and spend the majority of my time. The goals for Intel Skills for Innovation it is a commitment to teachers and supporting their teaching and learning experience through the different technologies. And to bring this vision to reality, we developed this framework. We have worked to bring things in that we call skill sets and mindsets, social emotional intelligence, design thinking, computational thinking, simulation, programming, coding, to really focus on using the use of technology in order to help educators feel that they can apply this in their classroom and to help students be able to be ready to utilize those higher order thinking skills as we continue to incorporate more and more technology in the classroom and in the workforce. As an educator, you may be familiar with Bloom's taxonomy. So when we were creating these skill sets and mindsets, we were very tuned into the different verbiage and wanted to, with the skill sets and mindsets that we created, we wanted to move from, that lower level of Bloom's taxonomy, which is just that remembering or recalling. I like to say, if it was on a multiple choice test, can you regurgitate, can you select the right answer? And that does show, some learning and remembering and being able to recall things. But we at Intel SFI wanted to take that to the next level. We wanted to go from just being able to spit out facts, right, to being able to analyze things that were put in front of students, evaluating sets of data, creating things, building, and then being able to take the knowledge that the students are learning and really being able to do something, create with it. You can see a little bit here where we are currently, where SFI is currently. This is, I will say, as we're doing our end of year roundup and looking at all of our markers, these stats are definitely different as we have grown a lot this past year and are in a variety of different countries. So within the Intel SFI platform, there are three main things. We have our professional development, our starter packs, and then our community. Within our community, we have 4 different levels. This, again, anyone who is registered for the platform, which is completely free, is available to access this and everything else I'll be talking about today. So here you see we have 4 different levels. What is in all of these different levels is a variety of different content that educators can go through, their courses, modules that can be done asynchronously at an educator's own time and when they are available. As an educator, a former educator, this is an amazing tool because I know a lot of times, at least for me in the US, going to a conference, to a training, a lot of times required me not only to have to like put in, because there was sometimes cost associated with it that needed to be approved, and a lot of times the money wasn't there. Or, you know, I would then have to be absent for a day of school, which means I needed to make sub plans, which ended up being more work overall for me, which just made completing professional development a lot more difficult. And so what we have done here is we have provided many hours for you to go in at your own time to complete wherever you are feeling that you are. And there's a variety to sift through and see what there is. The other great thing about the PD is that there are badges, courses, and course certificates that are awarded after completion of the different milestones, levels, modules, and then these can be utilized with checking with your administration. These can be utilized for that continuing ed, for that professional development, which is another really helpful thing when you are, I know in the US, you have to recertify and do all of those things. So it's another really amazing resource. And to tie in with AI in our professional development, Intel SFI offers a suite and a module dedicated to generating ideas using AI. It provides really engaging learning experiences for teachers to help them kind of overcome maybe some of that creativity gap and how to potentially implement that in the classroom. It gives a step-by-step guide. And again, this is all incorporated into the professional development part of the platform that is all completely free for those who sign up. The next piece that I wanted to talk about was our community, and specifically our ambassador program. Our ambassador program is a global community of educators who come together to share best practices, to create new content, to provide feedback. And we currently have silver and gold ambassadors. But what I wanted to, and you can see here below the criteria for certified educator and then for certified coach for silver and gold. Our silver ambassadors have implemented at least one of our starter packs, which we'll talk about here real shortly. And then our certified coach are more of our experts in the SFI content. I want to now hand it over to our esteemed ambassador, where she is going to share a little bit about her experience as an Intel SFI ambassador and really how that has impacted her as an educator, and just share a little bit more about her experience.
Thank you, Margaret. Hello from Athens. Well, I have been alongside since the beginning of the SFI Ambassador Program. Yes. And I was lucky because I participated in the Scientific STEM Discovery Campaign 2023, and specifically in the Educators Challenge competition organized by Intel and STEM Alliance. And as a winner, my award was getting to know Margaret and becoming part of the Intel SFI Ambassadors family. Well, but let's see how this 1.5 years in this program influenced me as a professional and changed my perspective as a computer science educator. My lessons became more interdisciplinary as I combined computer science with subjects like music, environmental studies, natural sciences, and more. I gained access to modern and structured resources and materials tailored to the age and needs of my students. Now I can explore subjects I wouldn't have considered before because the clear instructions and detailed guidance steps of the starter packs made previously unknown and uncharted topics more accessible to me. The convenience of having everything readily available encourages me to experiment with different topics without feeling overwhelming, and the most important, reduces my preparation time and effort required to introduce new subjects into the curriculum. Additionally, the SFI ambassadors are informed first and foremost about the new collaborations of Intel Edu, the new starter packs, and the developments in the field. Through the monthly ambassador webinars, we are the first to be informed about current technological developments by experts from the Intel SFI partners. We also learn how to apply contemporary tools essential for implementing the starter packs, and we receive advice on integrating them into our curriculum. As an ambassador, I have access to the various professional development modules that Margaret have already talked about, that the Intel SFI platform contains. This is very important because in an era where everything is evolving using technology, educators cannot and should not lag. So these learning resources equip me with the necessary skills to adapt technology in an anywhere learning environment and even to create my own starter pack. Finally, I had the chance to communicate and connect with educators who share similar interests and goals in leveraging technology in education. And I enhanced my professional profile through the dissemination of my work by Intel to social media and through my participation to webinars like this one today. For those who attend this webinar and are not Intel SFI ambassadors yet, I have some advice. Hurry up and join our family to gain access to all these cutting-edge materials, resources, tools, and learning modules that I mentioned to innovate in your classroom. Margaret, the floor is yours again.
Thank you so much. And yes, you hit the nail on the head in saying a family, and that's what we really are trying to create here with Intel Skills for Innovation and the Ambassador Program. It is a joy to be able to get to work with these amazing educators and be able to connect and receive feedback from them. Like Struggle mentioned, there are so many different things that she and our other ambassadors have been able to be involved with from being part of the ambassador program, and continues to grow. Like she said, she had been here since the beginning, so she can probably attest to the growth and the opportunities that have come about in the last year and a half. The program is still very young, but we are continuing to add more things and more opportunities like this webinar today, and a variety of other different presentations and opportunities to continue to expand your knowledge as an educator, but also to be able to take those offerings and being able to implement those into the classroom as well. In terms of implementing into the classroom, we want to really take a little bit of time to look in the third part of the Intel SFI platform, which is our starter packs. We have over 100 starter packs or lessons across K-12, all grades, and a large variety of subjects. When you are on the platform and you go through it and look through these different starter pack lessons, you'll see a piece where you can download at the bottom. And when you download a starter pack, there are a variety of different items that are in that download. One moment, please. When you download the educator, within that zip file, you'll get the educator guide, the teaching deck, and the working file. The educator guide gives all of your learning objectives, the lesson overview, and the activity guide that will help you with any of the variety of items that are in there. Then the next is the teaching deck. That teaching deck has the introduction to the topic and is the deck that you can show in your classroom. The last item is the working files, which gives installation guides, beginner guides to some of the softwares, and a variety of different data sets as well that can help you through all of those different items. Intel SFI also offers 21 different starter packs that are infused with AI content. We have a variety of different programs that are incorporating AI, and those, again, can be found on the platform and are free to all of our educators who are registered on the platform. In the next slide, I'm going to hand it back over we'll talk a little bit about Are You Happy?
Well, in the context of an e-twinning project, I decided with my 6th grade students to implement the Are You Happy Starter Pack. The activity aimed to raise students' awareness of the challenges faced by people with autism, particularly regarding empathy and the recognition of emotions through facial expressions. At the same time, we had the opportunity to learn about Global Goal 10, reduced inequalities, and discuss the rights of people with disabilities. We needed to adapt the starter pack scenario to align with the goals of our project. Here, I would like to emphasize something about all Intel SFI starter packs. While specific software and hardware are recommended by Intel, educators can adapt the included activities and use resources and tools already available in their classrooms, often without needing to purchase licenses or new software. Moving forward through the material provided in the starter pack, the students gained an understanding of the concepts behind machine learning and artificial intelligence. Ultimately, they created an application in Scratch to support individuals with autism spectrum disorders. At this point, I would like to mention that my students didn't know about machine learning, but they had prior knowledge of using the Scratch programming environment. Margaret, can we go to the next slide, please?
Sure thing.
So, in the beginning, we discussed about the difficulties and the specific characteristics of people on the autism spectrum and how technology and AI can help them. Next, we talked about machine learning, and students realized that it allows systems to learn and improve from experience without someone programming it. Then, to consolidate their understanding of machine learning, we watched an animated video about how statistics and computer science can be used to make machines that learn. As you can see in the photos in the second column, afterwards, the students visited the Machine Learning for Kids, a learning tutorial that helped them train their computer to distinguish between images of happy, sad, or angry faces. They collected images from the internet or designed faces with specific expressions and applied a supervised learning as the computer learned from patterns in the examples the students gave it. They tested their machines and then they followed a step-by-step Scratch tutorial included in the starter pack, where they programmed an app to recognize happy, unhappy, or angry faces. Next slide, please. So finally, as you can see, our app was ready. The students tested the application by making specific facial expressions in front of the camera, and they had really fun. The trained machine, based on the expression it recognized, displayed the corresponding emoji of a happy, sad, or angry face. At the same time, Scratch's well-known cat provided verbal and audio feedback to inform students if they were happy, unhappy, or angry. Through this activity, the students became more aware of the challenges faced by individuals on the autism spectrum and realized that when used correctly and ethically, AI can be a powerful tool to help reduce inequalities. Margaret?
Yes, I absolutely love this as a former educator. I think this is just an absolutely perfect example of a way to utilize technology in the classroom in a positive way. I know earlier when Roberta was talking, for a lot of people it may feel scary, it may feel unapproachable, but this is just such a wonderful example of how we can be utilizing the technology that is available. Another piece of this is that I wanted to point out is, that like she said, she adapted the starter pack to fit the needs of her classroom. Each one of our starter packs, when you download it, you get the content, but that doesn't mean you have to leave it there. You can take the content, you can adapt it, you can adjust it to any needs of the variety of different students that you have in your classroom, but you can also adjust the content as well. So if we needed to, if you want to use the base concept of are you happy, like Stravola did here, but then you can tweak it and adapt it, or you can build on it as well, which again is just another amazing example of how to incorporate and integrate technology in the classroom. Again, this could even be utilized at an even younger level if you think about it. If we're taking this base piece right here and having students even at a younger age being able to recognize faces and emotions, right? That is a key concept. And this is the part where we're taking that social emotional learning, taking, our feelings, emotions, and being able to recognize those not only in ourselves and others, but we're able to integrate this technology that is advancing and helping us to, bridge and reduce the inequalities that may be present. So this is absolutely wonderful and is just a highlight, like a beaming gold star of one of the amazing things that can be done with the Intel SFI starter packs. Again, and speaking of starter packs, I want to talk about our Acer starter packs that are now offered on the SFI platform. We have 3 that are currently on there, and I have been looking through them, and they are super exciting. This first one is called Durability by Design. And I think it, as someone who taught students ages 10 to 12, and we were one-to-one with devices in our classroom, this one hits home for me. This is a starter pack where learners will design a rugged laptop, draw inspiration from the Acer's ruggedized models. And this is where they can create a more durable designed device, which will help endure drops and impacts. And if you have ever been in a classroom, which I'm sure as educators, you know that there are lots of drops and impacts. So this is really applicable where they get to go through and design their own device, but get to take into consideration the different items that go in with having a device and how to make it a little bit more durable for the tiny hands that are working with it. The second one that we have with Acer is called Screen Sense. In this starter pack, students explore the impact of prolonged screen time on health. And this is inspired by the sensing technology. They collab to help develop a healthy solution to screen time habits. And this is, again, an educational practice where they get to, again, utilize technology to help them make better and healthier choices. This is ages 10 to 14. You can see it's using design thinking, programming, coding, and then the different softwares that it uses below. Lastly, the third one that is now on the platform is Optimize, Design, and Minimize. This one is where students will learn to use linear programming to optimize boxes cut from a sheet that would then be used for packaging. So instead of maybe some of you have received something in the mail where it is the tiniest item ever that is in a ginormous box, and you're like, why did we do this way? Why do we have, a tiny little item in a ginormous cardboard box? That does not make a lot of sense here. So this kind of goes into a lot of that thinking and being able to optimize the space, which also ties in to, not just the looking at the technology aspect, but also looking at it from a sustainability aspect as well, and being able to reduce the amount of waste that is produced. Checking to see if there are any comments on the Acer ones. We have a couple more starter packs. I know we're getting close on time, so I'm trying to make sure that we get everything in here as well. We also have our new AI PC starter packs, which is another great way to incorporate AI in the classroom. The 3 starter packs that we have are Alchemy of Sound, Story Sculptures, and Palette of the Planet. You can see here, these are all currently 13, but then you can also see the subject area. However, as we just saw, that doesn't mean that they have to stay there, right? We can look at the content and see if we can adapt it to a lower level if we would like, or take it and adapt it to a higher level as well. Again, the same thing can be done with the subjects. It may be aligned to a specific subject, but we could look at a piece of that and say, oh, actually, I think I could take that and integrate that into my science lesson, or I could integrate that into my humanities studies. So let's go ahead and look at these 3 different AI PC starter packs. The first one is called Alchemy of Sound. This is where they learn about sound waves and how to apply this knowledge, Audacity, and it's a really, really fun way to be able to look at audio and potentially if pique some interest for those that may be interested in different media industries. You can see here what they will be doing is they will be taking a clip from from Tom and Jerry, and it doesn't have any sound. So then what the students will do is they will work to create the background noise using Audacity and OpenVino. Don't know if you all can hear the sound. So you can see at the beginning there was no sound, but then they get to utilize AI and OpenVino to create that background or the track to go over the visual. In the second AI PC starter pack that we have available on the platform is called Story Sculptors. In this lesson, learners using they can brainstorm a narrative. So what this one is really doing, it is helping to give a scene and then to be able to storytell off of that. A lot of times, myself included, writing prompts were hard because it was like, I don't know where to start. So this gives an opportunity to help them kind of build a scene, like a visual, so that then from that visual, kind of like we see here, we can start that writing process. We can start that creative flow and writing, which again, having that visual is sometimes so incredibly important. So this is another really great way to integrate technology and utilizing AI to come and help to create this this image for this narrative that then we can help us students be able to kind of get those thoughts and that creativity going and create kind of a visual reality so they can see what they are envisioning as well. You can see it is a little bit of a before and after here when they get going in the in this lesson, students use Photoshop to visually demonstrate impacts of climate change. This one is super, super interesting. So they can go through and again, are utilizing AI and Photoshop to see, okay, what might happen if X, Y, or Z involving climate change. Again, they're utilizing Photoshop, OpenVino. But this one also, we had asked some of our ambassadors to go through and kind of read through this starter pack as a whole and give us some feedback on how maybe they would adjust or tweak this starter pack to implement in their own classroom. You can see here, this is one of the outcomes. We can see some deforestation happening here, and this would be the original image, and this is what it could potentially look like with climate change and the different things that are happening. So again, kind of giving that visual to students as well, which is extremely, extremely helpful. I want to hand it back over to Stravula to give us a little bit of the input and feedback from her going through this specific AI PC starter pack about how she as an educator would potentially implement in her classroom.
Well, I haven't implemented it yet, Margaret, but I will.
Yes,
That's
yes,
for sure. Yes.
Well,
I was lucky because I was given the opportunity to be the first to provide feedback on this new AI PC starter pack. Well, it is a comprehensive package that raises awareness of the climate crisis with a combination of virtual representations and modern digital tools. There is a variety of AI tools that Adobe Photoshop incorporates with unlimited possibilities and photographic material and video, very relevant and spot on. I think that this material will move and make students particularly concerned about the future of our planet. The interdisciplinary approach of this mixed reality starter pack allows students to connect different subjects like science, technology, and ethics, and help them better understand the abstract and complex concepts related to ecosystem deterioration through the visual representations that the starter pack provides. Also, the relevance of the starter pack to real-world issues, as I have already mentioned, climate crisis and ecosystem deterioration, encourages the implementation of the project-based methodology and a more holistic approach to problem solving. Another topic addressed by the Palette of the Planet is the ethical considerations of AI tools when they are used for communication and advocacy. Through the PAC's activities, students' awareness is raised about the potential limitations of these technologies and their responsible use. You can understand how crucial this is for the educators who aim to develop a generation that is both tech-savvy and ethically aware. At this point, I would like to mention that this starter pack can be aligned with the Greek typical educational standards and curricula, but I think with any other curricula as well. Specifically, it can be, yes?
Go ahead. I said I
Oh,
definitely
okay.
agree. I think it definitely ties into a lot of different curriculums in the way that it was designed. Continue.
I'm sure, yes. It can be integrated into the environmental science lesson, where students can be taught about climate change, ecosystems, and biodiversity through the impact of deteriorating ecosystems. ICT and computer science lesson, my lesson, the students learn the use of contemporary software like Adobe Photoshop and AI tools to create visual demonstrations. Students also develop their artistic skills by making impactful changes to images, colorizing, replacing skies, removing or adding objects, and creating posters with their images. Finally, the starter pack can be integrated into the Skills Lab course. The Greek teachers know about it, as it supports the development of 21st century skills such as collaboration if students work in teams, creativity using Photoshop and each AI tools for the creation of visual representations, and communication through the gallery walk that the educator can organize for learners to present their creations. To conclude, regarding the Palette of the Planet starter pack, I believe that all educators can easily integrate it into their teaching to develop their students' digital skills and foster media literacy, critical thinking, and ethics in technology. Margaret?
Yes, I completely agree. I think this was one that I had really zoned into and thought this one could really be, again, though it's mapped to the middle school level, it again could be adapted for a lower level or a much higher level. And we had talked recently in one of our own webinars about these, employers and moving from not necessarily the having a specific degree, but these essential skills-based items. If you have experience with Photoshop, I don't have a degree in Photoshop, but I have experience with Photoshop. I don't have, necessarily a degree in coding, but I have experience coding. And so these are the types of things that we are integrating and implementing in Intel SFI we are seeing that employers and just in any realm of employment are skills that are being looked at as top items that are so crucially important. And I know we are coming back to the top of the hour. So I know that we have one more slide that is going to give some QR code for some information on registering for Intel SFI. And I believe there is a code that will be pasted as well. There are also a couple of other resources that that they will put in the chat. One is the webinar that goes over all of the different AI PC starter packs. This was one that was on the Intel SFI. It was one of our community webinars. It gives a little bit more detail if you're interested in going and watching that. Where one of our the individuals who helped to, one of our creators is on sharing with us. Additionally, there's one for our AI PC, where we're talking with someone from Intel Corporation and giving really the rundown of AI PCs and how that can be implemented in the classroom and what that can be doing for educators. So again, all of those items are getting put in the chat right now, but also wanted to, with the little bit of time that we have left, open it up to any questions for all three of us in terms of Acer, AI PCs, AI, Intel SFI, the Ambassador Program. So opening it all up, and if Roberto or Strabula, you have any other comments, please feel free to add those in at this time as well.
Yeah, I have to say I really like the comment on that AI could really help to reduce inequality, so it can really support all the equality part. This is indeed key. Looking at the feedback, the one that was mentioned the most, and I agree. And also another interesting thing, and again, this was coming from real feedback from real teacher using AI. Another power about it is that they can really fine-tune the content based on the level of a student. So they have some materials. Maybe they have a student that has some challenges on that specific subject. The teacher would try to avoid to give a different lessons plan, but thanks to the AI, they can adjust the same lessons to the level of the students. So at least even the students can, catch up at its own pace. And this is something that before it wasn't possible. Or even the possibility to really create some materials based on the curricula. I've seen example of documents created in few seconds that before was requiring maybe 30, 40 minutes of teacher's work.
Right.
So
I think that's a great, I think that's
impressive.
It's a great point of just the differentiation that can be automated so much quicker now, because differentiation was happening. We educators have always been, differentiating their lessons, but it was something that, for myself, I had to sit down, and as a math teacher, I had to, this set of problems is going to be more suited for these group of students. Okay, I'll assign those to them. Okay, now I got to look through, what problems would be best for my kiddos in the middle? Okay, what would be best for my students who need a little bit more of a challenge? Now, with AI, we can say, I need to take this lesson, I need to differentiate it for these three groups of learners, and it's going to spit that back out for you. And boom, instead of you get to focus on, instead of doing lessons and going through things, you get to focus and be more present in the classroom, which is why I feel most individuals become educators in the first place. It's not because they necessarily love creating lesson plans, or they love grading, or they love replying to emails. They love to teach. And they love to be
that's the thing, they're shifting, so they're just doing what they would like to do, that is
in the first place,
supporting learners. That is amazing. And back to the skill for innovation, really, you have to try them, because in slides they could work, but you have to try them and to understand how easy they are to be implemented. And I like what you said, Margaret, before, that you can fine tune. If you have no time, you can use as it is, and it's perfect, but you can also have the freedom to fine tune it. And at the end, when you're creating an engagement lesson, even for the students, is more catching to follow your lessons. So having some easy to use package, I think it's been an amazing product. That's why we were keen to support you also with our contribution on your mission. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.
I would like to thank you, all of you, for your incredible and very insightful presentation. I also agree with the points that you've made, and I think it's been incredibly powerful as well for our audience. I was also reading the comments to see real life examples, as you were mentioning now, Roberto, and to see how in practice it works. So thanks so much to Margaret for showing us the platform and for showing us the program as well. You have the links on the comment section, so please go through them. You also have the links there for the introduction webinar. as well as for the registration to the platform. You'll also receive it by mail as well if you're registered to the webinar. So I invite you, all of you, to check out the platform that Margaret has presented. And as well, a big thank you to you, Strabola, for making it real, for showing us what you do. It's really amazing to see as well in practice your classroom activities. It's very interesting as well that you mentioned a very concrete example of how to work with the students that are under the autism spectrum. And I think that gathered the interest of many of our audience members that have commented on that. So thank you very much. I think that's also a very innovative use of the platform Scratch as well. I'm always surprised and amazed by how much farther we can take Scratch and these other technologies as well. So thank you very much. And thank you as well, once again, for making it real, for making the applications of AI in the classroom something graspable, something that is already there, and something that is not necessarily complicated or even scary or difficult to do so. Of course, always minding ethical concerns and bias of AI, and as well the fact that you're working as well, and you mentioned briefly about this, Roberto, but you're working with privacy and with data of students. So it's important that we use the right platform so that that data and those inputs that we give to the AI are safe and secure. So just to close, but thank you, Roberto, as well, for introducing us as well to the news that Acer has in terms of AI-enabled PCs, and for also making so clear these differentiations between the three stages. So thank you very much once again to the three of you, but also a warm thank you to our audience that have joined us this afternoon to learn more about how we can use AI to leverage innovation education. I invite you all to check the Future Classroom Lab social media, where we'll post news about upcoming webinars and sessions that we will be having in cooperation with other industry partners. And to those of you who register to the webinar, you will also receive the recording via email, as well as all of the links that we have shared, including the survey that Roberto has mentioned, but as well the other links that Margaret has shared with us, the webinars and the registration to the platform. So once again, thank you all very much, and wishing you all a very good evening and good holidays as well to those who celebrate. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Happy
Happy
holidays.
holidays.
Right.